Hey everybody, it's Rico Suave, and today I want to talk to you about food. I want to talk to you guys about emergency food. And the reason why I want to talk about emergency food is because food is very, very important. It's very, very important for everybody. Everybody needs food, just like everybody needs water. Everybody needs food. And I'm a big guy, and I love to eat. And I eat all the time. In fact, eating is one of my most favorite things to do besides sleeping. I know, how lazy of me, right? But food is very, very, very important. And being in an RV, having a big food storage is not really all that applicable to many people because the space that's in an RV is very, very limited. And it's not just in RVs; it's also people that live, in a small house, apartment, condo, dorm rooms, or whatever. So the ability to have uh, tons and tons of food and have good food that you can keep that doesn't require refrigeration sometimes can be difficult. So I'm here today to kind of tell you exactly how I do it. Department of Homeland Security, and I'll list the link below, states that every individual and/or family should have a disaster emergency kit, and that kit should give them and their family 72 hours of initial survival time. And we're not talking about just food and water. We're talking about power, communication, heat, cooling, basically everything you're going to need to get through the first 72 hours. So with that being stated, it's very, very important to take a few things into consideration. It's very, very important to take into consideration the type of food that you're getting, uh, what the goal of the food is. And I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, you'll get it here in a second. You also want to know your basal metabolic rate. That is basically stating a basal metabolic rate is basically a equation that will tell you how much energy you're going to use based off some prerequisites, height, weight, how old you are, etc. How much energy you're going to use in a neutral environment, basically at rest at a temperate climate. Why is that? Why is that important? Because you want to know how much energy that you're going to use if you're not doing any work, because you can prepare for that if you're going to be staying in, if you're in an environment where you're not leaving, you're staying in, you're bunkering down, or you're in a situation where natural disaster, whatever, states that you have to leave, flood, earthquake, whatever. So being able to know what your basic metabolic rate is and how many calories you're going to need for at rest is very important because it helps you to prepare for being in an at rest situation and then being in a situation where you're going to be moving around. So it's very, very important to know that. I'll also put a link to a calculator which will give you that equation. And it's very, very important, especially for food. With me, I just have myself, so it's very, very easy to get that number, set a number, and reach it. It gets more difficult when you have unknowns. When you have unknowns and you have time. What do I mean by that? Well, if you have a family of three, family of four, you got to take everybody's caloric need, multiply that by the amount of days, and then you have to think about, well, what happens if I need to take care of somebody else? Well, you may think, well, one extra person isn't going to be a whole lot. Well, one extra person needing 2,000 calories, 2,500 calories over the course of 3 to 5 days, you're looking at 1,000 calories that you got to make up for. So that's going to take away from your overall time. So that's why these things are important to look at. I'm going to share with you guys today my personal emergency kit. I made a kit very inexpensively, really good food, and I'll kind of get into that, get into details of that here in a second. But it's what I would use in case that there was a situation that happened, and it's going to give me what I'm going to show you is going to give me definitely. It's going to give me 3 days, 72 hours of hardcore, I'm working my butt off energy. It's going to give me 5 days at my metabolic, my BMR, and then 10 days for survival rations. So it's not very big, but it has really good food and it's geared towards my body type. It's geared for what I needed to do. So that's why I think it's very important, and I'm going to kind of talk to you a little bit more about buying kit versus making your own. Stay with me. Hey everybody, so welcome back, and let's get hot and heavy into what I have stored in my Home Depot bucket, which is what I decided to put my emergency food in. But before we get started, I just want to give you guys a little precursor. I do not have any emergency survival bars. Those survival bars that have 3,600 calories in them that supposedly, you know, you can have everything. No, I don't have any of those because those are crap. So remember, garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage in your body, expect to get garbage performance. So just keep that in mind. So uh, there's no emergency survival bars in any of my kit here. Just a warning precursor. Now let's go ahead and get started. So altogether, I have 11,000, about 11,500 calories in this bucket. So the thought process behind that is for a 72-hour period, it'll give me just under 4,000 calories per day. So if I'm doing lots of work, burning a lot of calories, it's going to give me just about 4,000 calories a day for the 3 days. Now, if I have to wait 5 days, that's going to put me very comfortably at my BMR requirements. And then it'll give me 10 days of survival rationing at around 1,200, a little under 1,200 calories a day, which, calculating and having gone through training and been in the field with expending lots and lots of energy and not being able to replace that food at all, not being able to replace those calories at all, I know that at 10 days of survival rationing, I will be just fine without any, without impeding my health at all. Who knows? I might actually come out looking better than I did going in, right? All right, so let's get started. So I have the Mountain House. This is the Mountain House 72-hour survival pack. This is the base of my carbohydrates. The reason why I say base of my carbohydrates is because the 72-hour Mountain House has 3,375 calories for the whole 72-hour kit. I'm sorry, that is not enough calories for me for 3 days. Sorry, won't do it. I need more than that. But this is great for your starting. Great start your base at. So like I said before, I use this for my carbohydrate base that I use for my emergency survival pack. So the beef stroganoff is really good, and the chicken teriyaki is really good. And I got the kit for $33 approximately, so definitely got a good price on it. The food tastes good. There's not a lot of bad. I mean, the ingredients are not that bad. It's pretty good, way better than anything you get with any kind of emergency survival bar. I'll tell you that much. So it's good. Now, FYI, just for your SA, your situational awareness, just know that the Mountain House do not come with the portable heaters like the food heaters that the MREs have. So they don't have that. They are reconstituted with water. So if you use cold water, you can have cold food. If you use warm or hot water, you're going to have a hot meal. So keep that in mind. Next thing I have is my salmon. 6 cans of salmon. Now it's 100 calories and there's 3.5 servings. So there's 350 calories per can. 13 grams of protein. So this is really good. Protein is the base of my emergency survival kit here. Food kit, because like I said before, protein is the building blocks of who we are as people. So if I am thinking about this from a scenario where I'm going to be working a lot, so I'm giving myself a scenario that I'm going to be busy all the time and I'm going to be burning lots of calories, this is what's going to help repair my body. It's what's going to help me give me my energy. It's going to help rebuild those muscles that that I've been beating up the entire time I'm working. So protein is really good. Now keep in mind, when you have a high protein diet, you're also going to have a bigger water requirement. But if you're already running around, you should already know that. So more protein, the more water. The ones that have low protein, not going to require as much water. So keep that in mind. But like I said before, salmon's great. Omega-3, omega-6s, protein. Fish is just good for you in general. So that's the first thing I have. 6 cans of tuna. I have 12 cans of 6 cans of salmon. Sorry. And then I have my tuna, 12 cans of tuna. This is 50 calories, and there's 3 servings. So 150 calories per can. The reason why I went with tuna is because, number one, really cheap, on sale, good for you, and it's different. You're not eating salmon for 3 to 10 days. You can kind of divvy it up. Sure, you lose a little bit of the calorie intake, but you still got protein, and it's still a healthy, viable option. Next, I have sardines. Another fish, like I said before, I personally like fish, so for me it's great. I have no problems with it at all. I like sardines. Great shelf life, and 240 calories per can, 14 grams of protein. So I like the way it tastes. It's good for you. It's going to give you that protein, omega-3, omega-6s, and also you can use it for other things. You can put this on a reel, throw it into the lake or pond or whatever, and catch some fish with it, or you can use it to trap. These things get under the sun, they get smelly, and 3 ounces could catch you pounds of food. So 3 ounces for pounds. I mean, it's diverse. You can use it for more than one thing. 2 is one, 1 is none. Next thing I have is Spam. Now, this is the closest thing I have to empty calories in this kit. This is Spam with bacon. It's 180 calories per serving. 6 servings in this can. I don't know if you've ever had it before, but I don't think it tastes that bad. I'll tell you one thing: if you are running around and you've been burning a lot of calories and you get a can of this, closest thing to heaven on earth I think you'll you'll experience. But like I said, may not be the best for you, but it's not that bad if you look at the ingredients, and it's going to give you the fats that you need. It's going to give you the calories you need, and 7 grams of protein. So it's definitely something that you could use to get and make up those that fat and proteins that you're burning up. So there you go. There's that. And lastly, I don't want anyone to forget, multivitamin, 1-a-day men's, 100 tablets. Now, is that a bit much? Oh yeah, 100 tablets is way more than I need for maximum 10 days for what the kit's meant intended for. But it's cheap. It's 100, and if I don't use it, I can take it with me and I can keep using it. So, you know, a multivitamin is really, really good. You know, it's going to give you your 10 essential key nutrients that you need. Multivitamin can do nothing but help you. So, in the gist of it, that is pretty much the gist of my survival kit. It's not that heavy. I can lift it with one finger. It's small. It's something that I could easily put in my RV or your dorm, apartment, house, what have you. You can leave it in the back of your truck. I mean, you can take this thing anywhere with you, and it's going to give you, you know, for me, for how big I am, it's going to give me 10 days of survival. Now, like I said before, the 10 days, it's going to be me doing a survival rationing, but having done that before, me having been in a position where I have had to extend myself for days on end without food, and knowing what my limitations are and knowing how far I can push myself because I have done that before, I know that for me, this kit will give me 10 days of survival time without me having to worry about any hard or bad effects to my health. So this will give me 10 days of initial survival time. So I like that. The food is good, and that's the most important thing, guys. The first time you guys open your kits for your food should not be in case of a disaster. So the best tips I can get for anybody that's, you know, thinking about preparing as far as having emergency food: take into consideration the calories, take into consideration the nutrition, take into consideration your BMR. Also, make the food something you want to eat. You know, this is not food that, oh man, I'll eat this food if it's a survival situation or if it's just a normal day. So why would you switch it up? That's why I feel like a lot of people do. I feel like a lot of people will get food that they've never had before or don't want to have, and that's what they'll use for a survival situation. No, if you're going to be in a survival situation, chances are things already suck. So you shouldn't be dreading the food you want to eat. You should, at least, that's the least you can do, is if you're in a bad situation, give yourself food that you want to eat and you're excited to eat. I mean, you know what I mean? Give yourself something you want to eat. Try to make the situation just, if you can make it just a little better, why wouldn't you? So I know this is going to sound crazy, right? But be intimate with your food, and that meaning, so I have cans, right? Can opener. Have a can opener. Have a way to open the can. That's actually another video I could probably do, how to open a can without a can opener. But can opener, can. And if not, you don't have a can opener, peel can. So I know that sounds ridiculous, but what's the purpose of having a bunch of cans if you don't know how to get into the food? So, you know, so be intimate with your food. Know what's in it. Know exactly how many calories are in it. Know exactly what's in it, and make it something you want to eat. It's like working out. It's like anything else. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to use it. So this is kind of the same concept here. So make the food something that you would eat in a normal situation. So that's what I did, and it's great. You know, if I ever needed it, hope I know never need it, but if I do, man, I'm gonna be eating well. I'm gonna have this. I'm not gonna be losing. Not gonna be losing very much weight. That's for sure. And all this stuff, like I said before, can be stored without electricity, and it's not very big. You can take this anywhere, put it in the back of your truck, car, RV. You can bury it in the ground. I mean, it is waterproof, seal-proof. Put it in a few trash bags. I don't see why not. So for this, you know, annotate that this is food. You know, however you want to do that. But the most important thing is to put the expiration date on whatever is expiring the soonest. So in this case, the tuna. The tuna expires July of 2018. So that gives me a little over 3 years. Like I said before, train how you fight. I highly recommend that you go on, go on a trial run. If you go camping or something and just live off your emergency survival food, so you know how to do it in case it happens. You're very familiar with it, and it's nothing new, and it's food that you enjoy. So you should have no problem taking this camping and just living off that, or do a little trial run. You should not. I can't stress this enough. The food that you use for your survival kit should be something that you can eat and you normally eat no matter what. You should be able to open this up and be like, you know what? This is something that this is just another day, another normal day. That's the best advice I can give to anybody that's looking to prepare the food. Healthy, calories, know your BMR, and get something you're going to eat. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me, leave a comment, ask me any questions. I love getting your questions, and I know that you guys are watching it, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos as much as I enjoy making them. And as always, long live the Republic.